What's good with y'all? For this ambidextrous drawing video, I'm gonna be drawing a bunch of animals that you would see living in the forest with both of my hands. With that said, the first thing I started off with was drawing out a robin. I did start this one off drawing out its full body, and I was intended for it to look as if it was sitting on a tree branch. Once that was done, I immediately jumped to drawing out the face of a coyote too. I had somebody close to me telling me that they seen one night, and it inspired me to try to draw one. It's interesting though, because the more that I do dogs and wolves and things like coyotes, I realize how similar their anatomy and stuff is. The coyote's face was really sharp, and it also had reddish fur too, kind of like a fox, but not quite. Once I got done with the coyote, somebody had ended up throwing out the idea of drawing out a rabbit too. Because I was keeping this more foresty themed, I went ahead and I drew a rabbit. Once that was done, I felt like it only made sense for me to immediately draw out a deer too. A deer is something that you just immediately think of when you think forest or just outdoors, trees. And a couple of my deer drawings too, sometimes I've drawn them to where they don't have antlers, but I wanted to go ahead and draw some antlers too. I wanted for this one to feel like it was interactive too, but my intention for this one was to keep it to where it was open-ended. Y'all can keep on throwing me like a lot of different ideas. I've drawn a lot of these animals before, but getting that background context of thinking about stuff that lives in the forest, it adds another layer of life to these. I went ahead and drew a grizzly bear too, at least the face of one. I didn't do like a full body this time around, but I tried to do it to where you can make out its details. I like the fact that these were almost subtle, but you could still make out what you were seeing. It was like that perfect balance in between. I went ahead and drew out a bass too. Once that was done, somebody had ended up mentioning a barn owl, and I went ahead and I squeezed one right next to where the deer was. I was really trying to make sure that I didn't overlap any other colors. One of you all had ended up mentioning drawing a beaver, and the cool thing about doing things like this is whenever I get that background context, I remember back when my dog was living, I got a chance to see a few. I got the chance to see a couple that were living by the riverfront. It was cool to just see the close-up of a lot of these animals with the references I was looking at. I squeezed the mockingbird on the side of the page, and I immediately drew out a squirrel too, because a squirrel is kind of another one of those animals that it comes with the forest. I was really working to fit everything on the page. But then I went ahead and I ended up squeezing the face of an eagle too. I was looking to make everything fit, and I wasn't really worried about making sure everything was size proportionate. I found this picture of a snake too. I drew out bits and pieces of his body, but I was making sure I didn't overlap the colors at all. Here's for the red lens, and now for the blue. Let me know what y'all think about this one down below, and if you're interested in seeing more, don't forget to like and follow, and I will see y'all on the next one.